Negative people don't have to destroy your life. They only need to stay around you long enough for you to start thinking like them. That's the dangerous part. You may never notice it happening. You simply spend time with someone who constantly complains, criticizes, doubts everything, or turns every situation into a problem. At first you listen, then you start agreeing. Eventually their way of seeing the world begins to sound like your own voice. And one day, you wake up wondering why you don't feel like yourself anymore. Marcus Aurelius understood that the people around you could influence the direction of your mind. As Emperor of Rome, he couldn't choose every person who entered his life. Soldiers, politicians, advisors, relatives, enemies. He was surrounded by people with completely different motives. Yet he repeatedly reminded himself that he had control over his own character. That distinction matters. You cannot control another person's attitude, but you can decide how much access that attitude gets to your mind. Consider what happens when you're around someone who complains every day. They complain about their job, then their family, then money, then other people, then the weather. Nothing is ever enough. After weeks or months of hearing the same negativity, something subtle happens inside you. Your brain begins paying more attention to problems than possibilities. This isn't weakness, it's psychology. Human beings are highly sensitive to emotional cues from other people. We observe facial expressions, tone of voice, body language, and behavior constantly, often without realizing it. When someone around us is anxious or angry, our nervous system can respond as if the threat belongs to us. That's why you can enter a room feeling completely fine and leave it exhausted without understanding why. You didn't physically fight anyone. You absorbed the atmosphere. Epictetus once taught his students to be careful about what they allowed into their minds because repeated exposure shapes character. The principle is simple. What surrounds you eventually influences you. A person who spends every day around disciplined people begins to see discipline differently. A person who spends every day around people who mock ambition may eventually become embarrassed by ambition. A person who constantly hears that life is unfair may eventually stop looking for opportunities. The environment doesn't control you completely, but it can make certain thoughts easier to think. And that's where negative people become dangerous. They don't always attack you directly. Sometimes they simply make growth feel foolish. You tell someone you're starting a business. They immediately tell you why it won't work. You decide to exercise. They make jokes about it. You want to learn a new skill. They remind you of everyone who failed. You begin setting boundaries. They call you selfish. After enough repetition, you may stop needing them to discourage you. You start doing it yourself. That is the real effect of negativity. Eventually, the outside voice becomes an inside voice. Seneca understood something similar. When he wrote about the influence of crowds and social environments, he warned that people can gradually absorb the habits and attitudes of those around them without noticing the transformation. You don't become like someone because you admire them. Sometimes you become like them because you stay around them long enough. And this raises an uncomfortable question. Who are you becoming because of the people you spend the most time with? Not who you want to become. Who are you actually becoming? Look at your conversations. What do you talk about? What do you complain about? What do you laugh at? What do you believe is impossible? Your social environment leaves fingerprints on all of these things. But there's another effect that's even more subtle. Negative people can change your perception of yourself. Suppose someone constantly criticizes you. At first, you defend yourself. Then you become frustrated. Eventually, you start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm really not good enough. Maybe I'm too sensitive. Maybe I can't succeed. Maybe they're right. This is where criticism becomes psychological conditioning. The problem isn't one negative comment. It's repetition. One comment can hurt. Hundreds of similar comments can reshape the way you see yourself. Marcus Aurelius faced criticism from people who questioned his decisions, his leadership, and even his character. But instead of allowing every opinion to become part of his identity, he returned to a deeper question. Is there truth in this criticism? If there is, improve. If there isn't, release it. That is emotional discipline. You don't need to hate negative people. You don't need revenge. You don't even need to prove them wrong. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is quietly refuse to become the person they expect you to be. Because your mind is a garden. Everything you repeatedly expose it to has a chance of taking root. And if you spend enough time listening to people who only see darkness, eventually you may forget that there was ever another way to see the world. The damage doesn't stop with your thoughts. Eventually, it begins changing your decisions. A person surrounded by constant negativity starts taking fewer risks. They postpone opportunities. They hesitate before speaking. They stop trusting their own instincts. Because every new idea is met with doubt before it ever has the chance to grow. This is how potential quietly disappears. Not through failure, through hesitation. Roman history offers a striking example. When Julius Caesar crossed the Rubicon, many influential Romans dismissed the possibility that he could succeed. Fear spread faster than facts. Politicians, advisors, and wealthy elites convinced one another that resistance was impossible. Long before the battle was decided, many had already surrendered in their minds. History often turns not on who has the greatest strength, but on who refuses to inherit the fear of those around them. Modern psychology explains this through emotional contagion. Emotions spread between people more easily than most realize. Spend enough time with someone who lives in constant anger, anxiety, or pessimism, and your own brain begins mirroring those emotional patterns. Without noticing it, your stress increases, your confidence shrinks, and your expectations of life become smaller. The frightening part is that you may believe these thoughts are your own. They're not. They're borrowed. Seneca once warned that the company you keep quietly shapes the person you become. He encouraged choosing companions who challenge your character instead of feeding your weaknesses. That advice feels even more relevant today. Every conversation either raises your standards or lowers them. Every friendship either strengthens your peace or slowly steals it. Every environment teaches you something, whether you intended to learn it or not. So what do you do when negative people are family? Co-workers or people you simply cannot avoid? The Stoics never suggested running away from every difficult person. They suggested building an inner fortress. Marcus Aurelius couldn't remove every dishonest politician from Rome. Epictetus couldn't choose his master. Seneca couldn't escape every corrupt influence in the imperial court. What they could protect was their judgment. That's where your freedom begins. You don't have to accept every opinion that reaches your ears. You don't have to carry every complaint someone hands you. You don't have to make another person's bitterness your emotional burden. Instead, pause. Ask yourself one question. Is this helping me become the person I want to be? If the answer is no, let the thought stop there. Don't water it. Don't repeat it. Don't allow it to settle inside your mind. Replace it with something stronger. Read words that challenge you. Spend time with people who inspire discipline instead of excuses. Choose conversations that build wisdom instead of resentment. Your character is shaped by what you repeatedly consume, not only the food you eat, but the ideas you entertain, the voices you trust, the people you admire, and the attitudes you tolerate. Over time, you'll notice something remarkable. Negative people begin losing their influence over you, not because they've changed, because you have. Their complaints no longer become your reality. Their fear no longer becomes your future. Their limitations no longer become your identity. You finally understand a truth that Marcus Aurelius carried through wars, betrayal, and uncertainty. No one can permanently darken a mind that refuses to surrender its own light. And perhaps that's the greatest lesson of all. You cannot always choose who walks beside you, but every single day, you choose which voices are allowed to live within you.